If you're willing to be spontaneous and hit the road at a moment's notice, you never know when your next adventure will find you. In late July, Rob and I were unexpectedly invited to join our friends Dave and Moira on a short trip to the Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park. A truly generous offer, considering how campsites here are booked months in advance and are as scarce as hen's teeth. Join us as we share some of the magic of this remarkable park and the desert-adapted creatures that thrive in its harsh, beautiful landscape. By the end, I'm sure you'll understand why we're as hooked on the Kalahari as we are. You know you're approaching the Kalahari when you start seeing sociable weavers' nests on just about every roadside pole along the way. Some of their constructions are quite magnificent, while others can weigh heavily on the wires. We had 2 free nights along the way and decided to spend the first night just outside Uppington at the Kalahari Manati campsite. It's a very convenient stopover if you need to stock up in Uppington before heading into the park. The sunrises here are stunning, as you can see. The drive from Uppington to Tweerefieren is peaceful, with wide views of salt pans and the rolling red dunes that are so typical of the Kalahari. Our next night was spent at the Kgalagadi Lifestyle Lodge, about 5 kilometers from the park. It's a good option if you can't secure a booking inside the park and want to go in daily. We had a lovely campsite and an unexpected visitor that would have looked more at home in the Australian outback than in the Kalahari. It's a short drive to Tweerefieren, the entrance to the park, which opens at 7 a.m. If you're leaving the park through another entrance, you'll need to have your passport stamped. Unfortunately, Immigration and Customs only open at 7:30, so you'll have a bit of a wait. Game viewing in the Kgalagadi is concentrated along the 2 ancient riverbeds that run through the park, the Auob River and the Auob River. These rivers rarely flow, but their sandy valleys hold enough moisture to support big shady trees and grazing, drawing animals into long, easy-to-view corridors. Most of the park's roads follow the riverbeds, with plenty of waterholes along the way. This means that you're driving right where the animals are most active, making sightings frequent and rewarding, often with predator action right in front of you. Raptors are one of the great highlights of the park. Whether it's tawny eagles or lanner falcons, they rule the open skies of this desert landscape. With so few trees and so much space, it's easy to spot them, perched on camel thorn branches or gliding low over the riverbeds in search of prey. This year, the owls really stole the show, with multiple sightings on almost every drive. Many trees had between 3 and 4 owl chicks, indicating that there was an abundance of food for their survival. Owls and other raptors need a constant supply of food, and in the park, small rodents, lizards, and mammals provide exactly that. They use a very effective method to smooth the roads here, dragging the tires along the surface. In years gone by, when this wasn't done regularly, the roads in the park were absolutely bone-shaking. Temperatures in the Kalahari can be brutal during the day, so the best times for game viewing are early morning and mid to late afternoon. The road mostly follows the riverbed with several short loops to choose from, each with its own waterhole. The loops are always productive, and we were so lucky to witness an incredible sighting of 2 male cheetahs on a gemsbok kill. Did you know that cheetahs are the fastest animals on land? But every chase comes at a cost. To survive, a cheetah has to gain more energy from its meal than it spent chasing it, including all the failed hunts. That leftover net energy is what keeps a cheetah alive, recovering, and ready to raise the next generation. Normally sleek and slim, these two look pregnant with their huge bellies. It was a good feast for them. But it's not only the cheetahs who benefit from the kill. This jackal is also in on the action with what looks like the stomach of the gemsbok. No doubt hyenas will come in later for their share. In the heat of the day, life slows down and the animals seek shelter in the shade or visit the waterholes. We always keep an eye out for birds and smaller creatures because they're always busy, even in the heat. This little male Kalahari scrub robin was an absolute delight as it flew off to perform its signature display for its mate. This beautiful fanning of the tail feathers is a critical visual signal used to reinforce a pair bond with its mate or to intimidate a rival. A true dance of dominance and desire in the Kalahari. I'm not sure about its mate, but I sure fell in love with him. Another successful hunt. Gates close at different times during the year, so one has to be careful to be back in time. Unfortunately, in winter the days are shorter, so the drive times are too. As the sun goes down and we make our way back to camp, there's time for one more stop to photograph a beautiful little pearl-spotted owlet. How's this for a Kalahari group hug? Right next to our campsite, a lively meerkat colony kept everyone entertained. These curious little sentinels popped up from their burrows, standing tall to scan for danger, then scurried off to forage in the sand. Their constant chatter, playful digging, and watchful behaviour became a daily attraction for the campers, ourselves included. They didn't limit themselves to the sand and their burrows either. They were right there in our camp with us. Dawn in the Kalahari has a softness to it. In those quiet hours before the sun climbs high, the light is gentle, the air is cool, and everything feels unhurried. It's a precious window for both the observer and the animals. These early moments are when the desert truly comes alive for the day. As if that beautiful dawn wasn't amazing enough, we came across this little family of cheetahs shortly afterwards, a mother and her 3 cubs. At one stage, the mother spotted a lone springbok in the distance and thought about giving chase, but then the buck moved on and they made their way over to a shady spot. One of the cubs had a sore leg and could hardly keep up with the others. We hoped it was just a temporary injury and not one that would lead to its demise. The oryx is considered the iconic antelope of the desert. It can tolerate extremely high body temperatures and also go for days without drinking. On one of the loops we came across a female martial eagle on a nest, feeding her tiny chick. These eagles usually lay only 1 egg because raising such a large and powerful chick requires a lot of food and energy. The chick will take its first flight at around 90 to 100 days old. We also watched a black-winged kite mobbing the same martial eagle on a nearby dune. She cried out every time the kite approached her. Those little talons could inflict a bit of pain if it was bold enough to actually strike the martial eagle. There are 2 picnic spots between Mata and Tweerefieren, and it's well worth stopping at both. The drive from Mata offers wonderful views, with red dunes rising in the distance and providing a striking backdrop to the Auob River. The Kampkoa picnic site is a good stop for a leg stretch and perhaps a refreshment break. Life in the desert moves at its own unhurried pace. Even in the heat, there's a sense of calm, as if everything from the wildlife to the wind has learned the art of conserving energy. In the open grasslands, birds often follow grazing antelope. As the hartebeest disturb insects, the birds dart in to snatch the easy meals, a simple natural partnership. The Achterlonie picnic spot offers sweeping views over the landscape and a window into the Kalahari's past. The stone cottage here was once home to early settlers who guarded a borehole along the Auob River in the early 1900s. When the area became a national park, the farms were abandoned, but this little house was restored as a museum. These beautiful swallow-tailed bee-eaters were investigating a nest in a sandbank. Their striking colours were a vivid splash of life in the desert surroundings. As this was our last game drive, we took one final trip around each loop and had a last look at the owl tree before heading back to camp. Every drive here is a gem if you're willing to be patient and look at all the animals and birds along the way. You'll never be disappointed. Mata Mata, like all the main camps, has a garage, a shop, and a swimming pool. Everything for your convenience.
What kind of day have you had, guys?
Fantastic.
And you?
Every day. Another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise.
Steady on. Hold that hand steady there, Jade.
Wonderful day.
Good. Lovely.
Wonderful day. Can't complain.
Excellent.
As we say farewell to Dave and Moira, we too say goodbye to this incredible park. But our adventure is not over yet. Join us next time as we head to the Okavango Panhandle in Botswana and Namibia, exploring the birds and wildlife along the Kavango River, and hopefully finding the elusive Pell's fishing owl. Thanks so much for watching.